Yeah! Welcome everyone to our Cursed Dragon Ship event this evening. We have an amazing author for you to feature. Yay, Kevin Petway, wave to all the wonderful people. Say hello.
Hello, wonderful people.
This is the launch for Blow Out the Candle When You Leave. It is book 2 in the Misplaced Mercenary series. And if you like fantasy, I describe it like Game of Thrones meets Firefly, so it's really cool. So if either of those things are up your alley, this is the right book for you. So hopefully you're here to meet Kevin and to win some books and have some fun. Please make sure any comments you have, just put them in the chat. That's why we're here. We really want y'all to participate. It'd be great if all we could do all day is just talk to y'all. So if y'all want to chat, you have any questions, please put them in there. We'll get the festivities started in about a minute. We just want to make sure that the alert goes out to everyone so everyone can see. And if we have any newbies along, so if we have any newbies to Twitch, first of all, welcome to this fun, awesome thing. So it's like Zoom, except you don't have to wear pants. I know they say you don't have to wear pants in Zoom, but then you get up to check the dog and you were like, oh, maybe I should have worn pants. But for this one, we're the only ones who have to wear pants. You are good to go, man. You just come, chat in there. We won't judge you for what you're eating or drinking. You don't even have to remember to mute yourself. This is heaven for you guys. So we're so glad you're here. See, who's wearing pants? Exactly. So Vanilla says, pants, what are pants? Oh, yes, Haley, you have to put on pants because we do have 2 awesome authors later. So Haley's going to have to put on pants. Sorry, Haley, just in case. And Sean is here. Thank you so much, Sean. It is so good to see you. Bigfoot hosted us on his stream, so that was very generous of him. Thank you very much. You wear pants even in Zoom just in case. Exactly, right? You never know. Just that one time you're like, who needs pants? And then you have to stand up for something. So it'll happen, like throwing the cat off the desk, which I might have to do in just a minute. So welcome. I think I might have procrastinated enough. How are you feeling tonight, Kevin?
I've been feeling really good. The first one of these that we did for the first book, I was kind of terrified all day long. But this one has been much smoother for me. I think it helped that I got to participate in the other 2 book launches, or 2 of the other book launches that you did in the same format. So I kind of knew what to expect. I hope.
Yes. See, this is nice. See, I'm more nervous on camera, but it's fun. At least I'm not featured today. It's all about you. So I will introduce myself. That my name is Kelly Lynn Colby, and I'm the editorial director of Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. And I was so lucky to be able to work with Kevin Petway. Discovered him at Superstars, and he was brave enough to come in on me, and he is the first signed author for our company. So yay for Kevin being brave! Woohoo!
Yeah, I was very flattered and honored, and still am.
Well, that's awesome. Well, it's well deserved because I don't just let anyone on. The long list of people who are mad at me for rejecting them will tell you that. Okay, so I'm going to read your formal intro. If you have anything to add, feel free. I have Kevin Petway is a longtime fan of good fantasy, as well as a smartass. He really is. He has brought together these 2 burning passions to create the Misplaced Mercenary series. Kevin lives in Florida with his wife of 26 years and 2 redonkulously cuddly dogs, where too much of his time is spent wondering if he will someday be introduced to the world as Florida Man. You can find Kevin on Facebook, Instagram, or his own website at kevinpetway.com. Fair warning, he's a smartass there too. So welcome, Kevin, yay!
Hi.
That's all I got for you. That's all I got. For anyone new,
no, that pretty much handles it.
For anyone new, I just want to let you know, please make sure to log in because we want to see all your awesome comments. So you do have to log in to comment. It's just like any other thing, just like you had to get a login for Facebook. So if you create an account, you can log in and type away, and we will be giving away books. So make sure you do that because I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get that. And Kevin Petway, we're giving away signed copies of your book. Yes?
Excellent. Yeah.
Yes.
Salute.
Let's see, who do we have over here? We have Dita Vanilla. I'm assuming, do you know who that is? I think that Dita Vanilla. Welcome. Oh, is it? That's awesome. Well, hello. Let's see, who else do we have? We have Bigfoot. We talked Haley, and Christian Mike is on. So welcome, Christian Mike. Thank you for coming. Oh, Christian Mike loved your first book too.
Christian Mike's a good fan.
That's awesome. We need some good fans. So thank you, Christian Mike. We all appreciate you. Yay, and Vicky's on. Yay. Hi, Vicky. It's good to see you. I'll assume that Spikette will be on as well. So they're from my end, and they're awesome fans, and they would love your book. Actually, Vicky would laugh all the way through your book. She's got to get it. So if you could sum up Misplaced Mercenaries, how would you describe it?
Well, it depends on what level, because it kind of, to me, it kind of works on a few different levels. The first and my primary goal was to write a book that obviously that I wanted to read, but something that was happy, something that was funny, something that left me or would leave whoever read it feeling better at the end for having read it, instead of, bummed out or stressed or anything like that. It's just supposed to make you feel good. And that would be the top level. But you need something to pull you through underneath that. And for me, that was, I guess, friendship and sacrifice were the big themes that I kind of felt like I was going for, to pull the story along, and give myself a good excuse to write the funny lines and the murder and that kind of thing.
The funny lines and the murder, that sums it up.
It's funny murder.
And even some of the people deserved it, so it totally works.
Absolutely.
Right? So question or comment. So your two main characters for the first book is Keen, and how would you describe Keen?
Keen's he's kind of a smart ass. He is sort of a manipulative person. He doesn't really have a filter. He's loyal to the one person that he's loyal to at a time. And other than that, he's just kind of out for, it's not even fair to say he's out for himself, because he's really part of a pair. Keen doesn't really function without Sarah. And then later on,
the second main character.
Yeah.
So how would you describe her? It's hard describing your own characters, isn't it?
Yeah, it really kind of is. It's easier to say, it's easier to consider them to be one unit and then to be different halves. Sarah is she's more responsible. Definitely the more responsible of the two. And she cares for Keen in ways that he can't care for himself. But then he sort of does the same thing for her. He's the one that's going to make sure that they get fed, that they have clothes, that they have money. And she's the one who makes sure that they stay alive long enough to use those things. So
details.
Right.
Well, I have to say, I admire the fact that you made them true best friends without any kind of romantic overtures. Like, they are really, truly best friends. And it's beautiful. And I have to say, a lot of times it's hard for authors to do that. I know, because I'm trying myself, and it's very difficult because you naturally want to, ship them together, and that would ruin their friendship. And it's such a beautiful thing that the way they have it, it's not, I wouldn't say they're not attracted to each other, but they're not, like, it's even more separate it's closer than brother and sister. And yet there's no romantic overtures. How did you manage to balance that?
Well, they have been together for too long. Mm-hmm. It is much more of a familial relationship for them. They've been together since they were little kids, and I think that they are a little bit codependent too. And the fact that they need each other so much sort of precludes them from doing anything that might screw it up. I think that both of them, if you took them into separate rooms and asked them, they'd just reject it out of hand. If you put them in the same room, they would make fun of each other about it. But that's that's sort of their relationship. But yeah, that actually was kind of important to me to get that right. I didn't want them to be romantic. I thought actually I could make them closer if I kept them away from that. Because if they're romantically linked, then anytime that anybody else comes into the picture, then there's that tension. And while I certainly put tension on their relationship, I didn't want it to be that kind of tension. I wanted them to be able to look at other romantic partners freely and be able to grow in those ways without each other hanging like anchors on their necks.
Yeah, you did a great job. I love it. It's probably my favorite part of the whole book. It's just their relationship is so unique. Well, besides the cursing, I love the cursing. But before we get into that, can we do a raffle? We should give away your first copy that we're going to tonight of Blow Out the Candle When You Leave. You can see the gorgeous cover there on your screen. Isn't it beautiful? So, and Miss Lena, the other pair of this creative duo, designed that cover, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, she knocked it out of the park.
She really did.
I love that cover.
I love it too, even though the dragons are evil. All right, so so he's going to give a signed copy away. So as soon as did the raffle go up?
Yep.
I didn't see it yet. Oh, there it is, signed copy. All right, so if you hit bang raffle or exclamation point raffle into the chat, then you will be entered automatically to win this copy. So if you'll put that in there, we'd love to get everyone in here and see how many books we can give away. So we'd love for y'all to have it.
There we go.
Did you say make an account in order to?
Yes, if you do not have an account, please make an account. Yay, Kingwood30. Hello, Kingwood. Yes, it is, right? It's a beautiful cover. Lena did a great job. So, and she's doing the whole series. So we'll have gorgeous covers to hang on the wall. And actually, you can see the first cover behind Kevin right now on his wall. So it's wonderful.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
There.
Right there. Perfect placement. So brilliant. Yeah, so just hit bang. We'll just have bang raffle, exclamation point raffle. And we will be giving away a signed copy. This will actually be the first signed copy. So exciting. Yeah. And if anyone is so interested in this book that you must have it now, because I know all of you do, we're going to also put the link in there. You can't just use the QR code right there. You need to snap it right from your screen and it'll go right to the account. And the ebook is out now, and so is the paperback. So if you go through there, the audio will be out next month. Yay, audiobook. So
yeah, I'm excited about that too. I really like Chris, our audio guy. He's amazing. He does a stellar job.
Yeah, next book launch, we'll have to get him on. That'll be fun to talk to him.
Oh
too.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. So we'll get that all straight. Are you gonna tell me when the raffle's over?
Sure.
So don't forget, enter for the raffle. Let's see. Oh, and we have a question while we're waiting. So we have a question from Dita Vanilla. Do you spend a lot of time being super picky about your covers with your wife, or do you just let her do what she wants?
Oh no, I barely pay any attention to it at all. I have nothing but faith and trust in everything she does, and I would never dream of second guessing any creative input she had at all, ever.
Should I read the smartass part about your bio again? That was very clever, Lita. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's recorded now that he doesn't give you any grief. So you can just play this again for next time. All right, the raffle is now closed. Let's see who won the signed copy. This is the fun part. Did you get a drum roll yet? Yay, Spikette won! Woohoo! That's
Awesome.
my mom. Look at that.
Excellent.
Yay! Congratulations. You'll get the first copy. Please email your information to that email that you see on there, and then I'll make sure that it gets to Kevin Petway so he knows where to send it. So that's awesome. All right.
That's wonderful.
Yay! So congratulations, and don't worry, our fun is not over yet. We are about to be joined by H.C. Kilgour. So Miss Haley is going to join us, and she's going to be talking about her book, The Noggin. So why don't we go ahead and welcome Haley over? Are we good? Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's so good. Our tech guy. We have to give it to Zafo, man.
There she
Woohoo,
is.
Zafo! Look how pretty. It looks gorgeous. Okay, so I do want to read Haley's bio, which is on the next page, which I'm totally prepared for. There you go. So H.C. Kilgour has always had an active imagination. Now she's sharing it with you. Originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, H.C. Kilgour currently lives in Miami, Florida, enjoying the permanent sunshine. She claims you're most likely to find her in the ocean, perks of being a marine biologist, or with her nose buried in a book. Her first, why does it have to be or? Can't that be and? Her first love is fantasy fiction.
Water is really hard.
Well, you know, if you're on a boat, it'll work. Her first love is fantasy fiction, and it certainly shows in her first, but certainly not last book to be released, The Noggin. Welcome, Haley. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So I'm going to step back a little bit. I'm going to let you and Kevin talk, and I will just pull up if we have any questions. And I do want to say one more time, if there are any questions, please make sure to put them in the chat. And if you can't chat, it's because you're not logged in. So make sure to get an account and then jump right in, and we'd love to see your questions. All right, Kevin and Haley, take it away.
Hey, Haley.
Hi.
I've been reading your book.
Yay.
Really enjoying it. But I totally pronounced the title of it differently from Kelly. What is the
Everyone does.
correct
You're
pronunciation
not
of that?
alone.
Is it Noggin?
Yeah, it's the Noggin.
Okay.
I was very careful. You know how detailed I am as your editor.
Yes, that's true. I was going Nanigan, but
Don't worry,
that's
that's
fine.
what everyone does at first. You are good company.
Now you used to live here in Jacksonville, right?
Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, actually, I
Yeah,
just
that's
moved.
where I'm at.
Wait. Okay, fun. I don't miss it.
I guess I don't blame you so much. Now, are you doing the marine mammal stuff with the Navy there in Miami?
No.
You're away from that
down
now.
here in Miami. I actually work for Florida International University now.
Oh, wow! What are you doing for them?
I'm a field tech, so whenever quarantine decides it wants to end, I get to spend my days on boats collecting water samples.
Very cool.
Which is a far cry from writing, but hey, whatever works. Wind floats my boat, sometimes literally.
I don't want to reveal any too much about what I've been reading so far, but safe to say that your main character Keegan does not have a very smooth transition at the very beginning of the book.
Oh, not even remotely.
No.
It is just into the deep end.
No, not at all. And I wondered because your villains are, well, let's just say very villainous. Did that stick with you at all when you wrote it? After you wrote it, throughout the day, did you carry any of that around with you? I sometimes if I write something that's really, really heavy, it like stains my brain. And I was just wondering because I some of the stuff I was reading, I was
No, so I don't usually carry that stuff with me. I do carry the sarcasm around though. So if I'm writing a character that's really sarcastic, I go into full sarcasm mode, and you can just see my boyfriend just being like, I don't need to deal with your nonsense right now. It's just, you can just see him dying inside, and that's about the only thing I really carry with me throughout the day.
And Lena, my wife, if you're listening, that's what the smart ass is for me too. It's just the characters.
I don't think she's buying it, Kevin. I don't think she's buying it.
So what are you writing now?
I'm working on book 2 of The Noggin. It has gone out to my beta readers, which is my mom and my aunt and my uncle. And now I just get to patiently wait, which is
Very
frustrating,
cool.
but it's life.
So now this first one took you a while to write because I was reading up on your book and you, and you said that you had really sort of come up with the germ of the idea for this when you 13?
Yeah, so the germ of the idea really started when I was 13 and, middle school, high school, always tried to write it, failed, and then the end of my freshman year of college, I said, screw it, I'm going to do it. So I spent the entire summer writing a physical first draft copy, and then I just didn't stop. So we have this lovely girl now.
Yeah, I love that cover too. Well, I was wondering, the second book, now that you're sort of into it, how has that process been different for you? Because you don't want to wait another 10, 11 years, for the next one.
Yeah, I've actually had to start planning. So Noggin was always kind of like my bedtime story self. So I knew what I was writing by heart. The second one was more of a, where am I going again? So I actually had to sit down and outline, and that really changed the process, which was a bit of a shock because I'm just like, I got this. I don't need a plan. And now I'm just like, plans are important. Plans are very important.
So you didn't outline it all for the first book?
Not in the slightest. It was just a go. I knew what I wanted, where I was going, and it kind of helped that I started only 4 perspectives, and I got those written. And then I was like, well, what would happen if I added this one in? And I think Nico was the very first non-main character I added, and then the rest of it just went to hell after that. But it's just like, okay, I can have fun with these other perspectives, and then it was just adding. So I already had the main story. It was really easy. It was just add in, this would be cool, and this would be cool, and I like this arc, and what's the worst that can happen? Apparently a book is the worst that can happen.
So,
Kevin, don't take notes. Don't from your editor. She's begging you.
So I'm also kind of curious about, because especially since your processes were so different with these 2 books, about your world building. How did you do that? And did you, how much did you continue to do that with the second book, and how did it, I know for me, I've got probably another entire book's worth of just, background that, it's, but you've done something that I didn't do, because you've done it. You've written your books in 2 entirely different ways. So I was just wondering how you fit that in.
So as far as the world building goes, I really couldn't tell you how I actually did it. It just was magically completely formed, and I knew what I was doing. I won't say that, but it wasn't hard to create the world. I kind of, had an idea of geography, I guess, before I started the project. And now writing the second one, I really kind of get to expand upon that. Like, you actually get to, in the second book, they start going into winter. And it's not like just winter, it's like Alaska winter. And you're just like, well, that's different. And just, I get to play because the races start interacting a lot more. So I guess for people who haven't read my book, there's mermaids and dragons and these things called the Torpeki, which the best way to think about them is really big mountain trolls that are really, really smart and have horns. And then you've got the Alvor, which are pretty much elves. They're just as sarcastic and narcissistic, but, they're fun. And then you've also got the Buluo, which are your nomadic people who live with werewolves. And you've got your humans, so you kind of get to really see the way races interact, and that's a really, really cool thing. And they each bring in their own traditions and philosophies, and so they kind of start competing with each other, and everyone's got to learn to get along. So that was kind of a new thing of world building, of not the physical world, but the culture of it.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly a mightily important part. I guess you want to pimp your book here a little bit. So what do you want to say about it to folks? Just like tell them a little bit about the book, just to get them interested.
So a quick rundown, like really quick rundown of the book is, what happens if you take a young woman from our non-magical world, put her in a world filled with magic, give her magical powers, and tell her to go save it? The answer is chaos. And that's really pretty much what this story is. It's just, I'm in this world, this doesn't make sense. Okay, I have to survive. And it's, if the other characters she interacts with, and just about how all of this has just gone to hell in a handbasket, and they're all dealing with it, and they're all trying to accomplish these goals, and it's a lot of fun. There's magic, there's elemental magic, so you've got fire, water, air, life. I'm missing something, and I'm blanking. Earth. There we go.
Kevin's like, I got this.
And then there's also spell casting and telepathic abilities. So it's just a lot of really fun magical systems, and it's really fun to watch Keegan, who's our main character, and who's got this concept of science going into this world and just being like, well, I can totally control you using your bones. Well, yeah, you can use life magic. No, I can do it using earth magic. What? Well, bones are made of minerals, mate. Like. And it's just really fun to watch her constantly blow everyone's mind with these things that we would consider really simple, and just be like, well, we know nothing. This is great. So it's just
that's awesome. Yeah. That sounds so much fun. So I think what we should do now is give away a book.
Yes.
So Haley is giving away an ebook. So we're going to go ahead and start that raffle. And once it goes up, I'll go away again. Y'all can keep talking. All right. So the raffle is up. So remember, just put !raffle. So put that in there. And we also just put the links for Haley's book. If anyone is interested, it is up there. And we know you are, because otherwise, why would you be here? We love fantasy. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So it is up there. So if you hit bang raffle, and then we're giving away e-copies. So
Kevin, I want to ask you, how did you come up with the name Keen? I'm a big person for really cool names and whatnot, but my method is just mash a bunch of letters together, throw them at a wall, and see what sticks. So I want to know how you came up with that name, because it's such a cool name.
Okay, before I tell you, though, I did want to say that the names of your characters really stuck out to me. I really liked them. Many times I was like, that's a really cool name. Keen in particular, it was simply because he's sharp-witted. And that was where I went
play
with
on
it.
words. I see. I see. And also, I want to ask, how did you come up with that title? That's not what I would imagine. If I picked it up in a bookstore, I would have thought that was like some kind of romance novel. So I'm really curious as to how you came up with that title.
For the first book or for the second one?
Both of them.
Okay. Well, the first book is all about them running away. So, and that was the whole book. So a good running away was natural. And also it seemed kind of, to me, I was thinking, we'll give you a good running away from, and that was, but blow the candle out when you leave.
You don't give anything away. It's on the back. It's okay.
Okay. Keen and Sarah get separated fairly early in the book, and Sarah knows, as an apprentice sorceress, she knows one spell, and that spell is called blow the candle out, because that's literally what she can do with it. At first, anyway, is just blow out a candle from across the room, and of course it's more involved than that, but that's where it starts.
Okay. Interesting. So, what is your favorite character to write? And sorry if I interrupted there.
No, it's okay. My favorite character to write is actually Eli. He's kind of the crusty old bastard. And I guess I kind of identify with that. And the other thing about Eli that I love is that even though he very clearly sees Hardin's, his boss's, flaws, he's loyal. He's 100% loyal, and he always will be. And I like that about him. It gives him, to me, it gives him a real strength that I really dig. And, of course, Eli and Hardin are both bad guys. They're, the villains of the piece. But they function on their own level that has genuine strength and genuine affection.
Well, for the record, bad guy and good guy in Misplaced Mercenaries is kind of a moving line all the time.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
it's definitely not black and white, which is nice. But we do have a winner for the raffle, so let's see who our winner is. Yay! Let's see who wins the ebook. And Brian says hi, by the way, Kevin, while we're waiting for the
Hello,
winner.
Brian.
Oh, Bigfoot! Yay, Bigfoot won!
Excellent.
Good job, Bigfoot. So Bigfoot, if you'll please email that email at Cursed Dragon Ship, and I'll make sure it gets to Haley so she can get you your ebook. So yay, Bigfoot! Oh, and Vicky says that she loves your pets there, Kevin.
Oh, are they walking around in the
Yeah,
back?
River's back there. River's like, hi.
Yeah, she's a sweetie.
They like their big, pretty dogs too. Hey, this is the internet. We're allowed to talk about animals. It's the best thing.
Okay, I'm just sitting here with my cat attacking my toes, but
See, my cat keeps jumping behind the monitors. I'm like, don't you knock anything.
mine's learned not to do that. He learned that very quickly. He likes the toes and he has no problem eating them, whether you're sleeping or you're awake.
That's right. You never know. No, I do close the door at night. Sorry, I need my sleep. And it's not beauty sleep. It's so I don't kill anyone's sleep. So I don't know. Anti-psychopath
I'm
sleep.
sure people very much so appreciate that one.
Very much. All right. So what do we have? We still have 10 minutes. So y'all can keep shooting. Have fun.
Excellent. Okay, so I was wondering because, like I said, when I do my world building, I have a basically this big spreadsheet document that's all the world, and then I have this other one that's just characters and everything about them, and there's all kinds of stuff in there about all of these characters that never comes out in the books. So I wanted to know something about Keegan that isn't in the book. I wanted to know something that informs who she is, some kind of secret from her past, that that maybe you wanted to put in the book, but there was just not a space.
But your mean old editor made you cut it. I'm not her editor, but I know her editor.
So funnily enough, it wasn't a scene that Athena ever made me cut, but my mom made me cut. So there was this whole big fleeing scene.
See, now I'm like interested.
And it was a whole bunch of flashbacks, and they worked backwards through important times through Keegan's life, starting at college, going back to when she was a kid. And one of the things that I really didn't like taking out, just because I'm me, is that she's a huge book nerd. She loves books. And she's just absolutely that kind of nerd. She also used to be incredibly shy. And it wasn't until she got adopted as a teenager and suddenly had 4 brothers who would mercilessly pick on her that she actually kind of got out of her shell and was like, all right, I'm done with this. We're going for it. So she's kind of had a very big change in personality. And then I can't say the last one because it kind of actually spoils something in the second book. That was one of my favorite scenes to write, because I got to put my 2 most stubborn characters in the room, told them to make friends, and they both just looked at me and said, screw you, and went their separate ways.
Yeah, that can happen. I outline kind of obsessively for my books, and people talk about that's not. Some people don't like to do that because they say it robs the spontaneity of the book. And the truth is, it doesn't. I just have to rewrite my outline a lot, because if the characters go left when I had them going right, because sometimes it just happens. You just go back and rewrite.
Yeah.
But now I want to know why your mother didn't want those scenes in the book of Keegan's flashbacks.
She thought they just didn't add anything. She's like, I was so excited for all the other perspectives going around, and then Keegan's would come up and like, ugh, I have to read this perspective again.
Okay.
And so it's just like, well, if my mother's saying they suck, I should probably listen. So they got taken out.
Yeah, because your mom's gonna like everything.
Oh no, my mom will tell me if she doesn't like something. There's no beating around the bush with her.
Lena is very helpful for that too. She's very honest.
I feel like she's sitting in the background either laughing or just kind of giving you an angry cat face, just being like, I'm watching you.
So she's one
Or just nodding.
over. She's one room over, and I keep getting texts from her up in the corner of my screen, which I'm trying not to look at.
Tell her to put it in chat. We all want to see.
All right. Well, what about your other characters? Do you have were there any things in their past, any good secrets, or the brothers, or what's the fellow, the earth elemental
Cade.
fellow that she
The
meets?
one who's just constantly angry. Cade.
No, not one of the
Jared?
brothers. He's the guy that she meets in the woods after she goes she takes off.
Jared. Jared.
Jared? Yeah.
He's one of the he's one of the brothers. Or are you thinking of Cade?
No. This was after it doesn't matter.
Welcome to fantasy and all the characters. There's definitely not a shortage of characters in fantasy.
No. No, I was just wondering, what if like with Keegan, if there were anything that you wanted to tell about them that just didn't fit.
No. So strangely enough, they kind of didn't get that big amped up backstory. I mean, I know things about them, but like there's no secrets that had to get taken out. I mean,
Right.
aside from the fact that, I mean, once Lucas and Jared broke Nico's finger on accident as a kid, that's about it. But I mean, that never made it into the book.
Okay.
Secret
Still
trivia.
interesting.
Now we know some interesting info. And real quick, before you go on, let's go ahead because we only have a few more minutes with Haley. Unfortunately, it's very sad.
Okay.
But we do want to give away your second ebook.
Yes.
So let's do that now. Let's do a raffle for the second ebook. Look at that. He's on it. So this is for an ebook version of Nanoggin. So if you just put exclamation point and raffle, then you can enter exclamation point raffle. Oh, Birdie says she'll miss you. You can't leave, Haley. Sorry.
Oh, I feel so loved.
Oh, River wants love. River says, no, you must pay attention to me. See, his dog's name is River. And what's the other dog's name, Kevin?
Book.
See? So when I said it's like Firefly, there was a reason for that. All right. So do y'all have any other questions? And are there any questions from the audience too? Sorry, I feel like I should have been asking that too. So if there are any questions from the audience for either of our wonderful authors here, please make sure to put them in chat. All right.
So, Kevin, I do want to ask, how did you come up with the idea for your book? Or books, I guess I should say.
How did I come up with it? Yeah.
Oh, I asked a good question.
Yeah. Well, I knew I wanted to write a book. I had been to Superstars. I had written a book that was very long and not very good. There were some good things about it, but it structurally it was kind of a mess. And I had rewritten it about 5 times, and it was time to just put it away. And so I needed to come up with something new. And so I just really sort of sat down and started brainstorming. I did a bunch of research on the time period and the way that society worked and things like that. And once I had a couple of ideas and I started doing that research, the research really fed into it. And now I can't even watch a nature show without taking notes. And so really at first it was deliberate. I was very much sitting down and thinking, what kind of characters do I want? What kind of story do I want? And now it's just sort of this ongoing process that never stops. You kind of get into that head of it, and inspiration's everywhere. It's not a very neat answer, but it's kind of the way it went.
Hey, I mean, whatever works. The end results are always hopefully the same.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, what about you? I mean, yours was, I guess, you said it was stories that you were telling yourself when you were going to sleep.
Yeah, I always had trouble sleeping, and my dad would read to me, so I would, put myself in the book that we've been reading and go with the characters, and that would get boring, so I'd bring in other characters from other books or friends, and then, years down the line, just like, I have my own book. I should write it. Okay. Pretty much it.
So, have you ever gone to sleep reading a book and then dreamed that you were still reading that book? And then the next night when you went to read it again, you didn't know where you were because in your dream you had gone to entirely different places in the book?
No, I've not, because I'm really bad about trying to read at night now that I'm older, or I guess even as a kid, because it would take me an hour to fall asleep. I just had really weird dreams, like seeing an entire Day to Remember concert. I'm a weird person.
Excellent.
Oh,
that makes you more interesting.
While we're waiting for the raffle, I did want you to know that we have a question from Birdie25.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's see. It says, for anyone, is there a particular artist you'd like to see illustrate your book? If you don't know the name, you can even bring up what the book is, like, what the book was.
I think everyone has their style, and to be honest, my artist did such a phenomenal job. I can't imagine anyone but her ever designing my book covers again. Like, just holy cow, she is amazing, and she actually just got into med school. So you're just like, she is so talented. And no,
So who's your artist?
Her name is goodness, if I can speak, Alexa Kirstens. Why can't I speak tonight? And she's actually a friend of mine from childhood.
That's awesome. And how about you, Kevin? I know you're an artist yourself. So
yeah, and other than my wife, I would say HBO.
Just the whole channel?
Yeah, if they would, illustrate it into like a however many year long series, that would work for me.
That's my favorite answer. That's who I want. So if HBO, if you're listening, email Kelly Colby at Cursed Dragon Ship.
We can work something out.
Well, we'll get this deal going. All right. So who won the raffle? Who do we have? And Lena tells me I need to see that first book, Kevin. So warn you, you've been put out now.
You need to see
the first book. The first one that you wrote.
Look at that.
Oh.
Hey, and Birdie won. Look at that. Yay.
Oh,
congratulations, Birdie. So please email the Captain Wyvern at curseddragonship.com. That email right there on the chat. Email that, and I will make sure that Haley gets your info. So just send us your email through there, and that would be awesome. Thank you so much. Woohoo!
If you want a book, which I'm sure you do, it's so good if I say so myself.
So awesome. And then we'll put up the link one more time. Kevin, if you want to put the link one more time for her book, because we're about to have to say goodbye and say hello to Anthony. But I do want to also, while we're here, because when we go, because this will be recorded and put on YouTube, if you will go ahead and Haley and let us know where it is that everyone can find you.
So you can find me on Facebook as HC Kilgour. You can put periods after the H and the C and get the page, or leave the periods off and just get my author Facebook page. Pretty much everything's posted on both. Very rarely is one thing not cross-posted. And on Instagram, you can find me as _HC Kilgour. This one has some fun stuff. I do some book ratings and some how-to posts as how to get published is what I'm working on now, except that's a whole big series. And then just a bunch of other fun writing things. And then I do have a website. I'm still trying to use it, and it is hckilgour.com. So if you can't tell, there's pretty much a theme. Social.
It's clever. It makes it easy for people to find you. And Kilgour, in case you didn't get it, is spelled Kilgour.
Yay, being Scottish.
That's right. And being an editor.
It was a joy to have you on our launch, Haley, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I loved being here.
And I'm really enjoying your book, too.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. I can't wait to get into yours.
Excellent.
Well, further, I guess. I did read it just a little bit, and it's so good.
Excellent.
I think it's my cue to leave. So, night, guys.
Sorry, Haley. Thank you.
So long.
All right. Now we're lucky enough to have Anthony Dobransky join us. Hi, Anthony.
Hello.
How are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Kevin, congratulations on your awesome book and on letting me be part of this launch. I'm so excited. I love the book.
Well, thank you
Yay.
very much.
It's so fun.
We're happy to have you here.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna read
Thank
your
you.
bio real quick so we get the formal stuff out of the
Sure.
way, and then y'all can have your awesome conversation. So we have
Okay.
Anthony Dobransky. Did I say that one right?
Yes.
Is it Dobransky? See? This is important to get
Dobransky.
these names right. Anthony Dobransky is a native of Washington, D.C. He studied English literature at Yale and made his first career working internationally for AOL. You know, you dated yourself. That's yeah. His debut novel is the cross-genre
Oh, it's been
modern
a while.
fantasy.
It was a while.
Is the cross-genre modern fantasy, The Demon in Business Class. He also created Business Class Tarot, a modern tarot deck inspired by his novel. He is a member of SIFWA and serves on the board of the Inner Loop, a Washington, D.C. live reading series. Beautiful. He lives in Washington, D.C. now with his family, and he loves to ski. I'm assuming not in Washington, D.C.
Not too far away. We have some Pennsylvania mountains that are good for, getting out on a weekend. You can leave early in the morning and have a day and be home by dinner.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that. Very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome. And we'll give away your
Thank
stuff in a
you.
little bit. Meanwhile, if anyone has any
Great.
questions for Anthony or any for Kevin, please make sure to put them in the chat. If you can't chat, that's because you're not logged in. So make sure you go, just log in and create your account and then come in. So welcome. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much.
So,
Do I
Anthony,
start, Kevin, or you want to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I have been reading your book along with Haley's. Really, really enjoying it. It's
Thank you.
riveting is actually a very apt description.
Oh, that's awesome.
It
Thank you.
kind of grabs you by the neck and doesn't let go, which I appreciate. I like that a lot in a book. I have really been kind of blown away by just your characters,
Okay.
particularly Zarabeth and Gabriel, but not exclusively them. But they are they're very, very real. They're very flawed. They're very contradictory. They read like real people, and I really like it, because everything that they do is true to them, but at the same time, you never know what they're going to do. And I really dig that. It's obviously it's really caught my attention, and I'm liking it. So how did you get so deeply into these people's heads?
They kind of forced me to do so. To step back a little bit, for those who don't know the book, it's a urban fantasy love story that is done in the style of a corporate thriller. I wanted to write a book where a love story was central to the plot, but where it didn't make things better, it made things way more complicated. It was something that kind of keyed off of my old life. As Kelly said, I used to work internationally, dating me for AOL back in the day. But it's a very big world. At the same time, you're kind of in this strange habit trail where you're in country, but you're not. You're in hotels. Everyone speaks your language. It's a very odd situation. And so I wanted to have two people kind of connect inside of there and still be unstable and destabilizing. So I had to make them fairly realistic people to get that destabilizing going. And I really think that it began with Zarabeth. She is a person I wanted her to be a force of will. I wanted her to be somebody who was going to insist on, making it through a situation. And that forced her to be much more situational, a lot less devoted to particular ways of being able to chuck things out if they weren't working, even if she didn't want to admit they weren't working. And so that, I think, led me through a lot of it. Gabriel, on the other hand, is very rigid. He's been living his life very rigidly because he knows the anger inside of him, and he doesn't want to let it out, even when it might be more constructive if he found a way to do that. And so between the two of them, I think that I could generate a lot of tension. And so I think that's where it began, is just that the story demanded that they both be, just below boiling in order to get the plot across, in order to get the connection across, in order for you to understand who they were and why they were meshing in some ways and not in others.
Yeah, I felt like those characters in particular, because they did read so true, really grounded an otherwise, because there are some fantastical elements, but everything is treated in a very real way. And I felt like those characters, just their thoughts, the way that they interacted with the world, really brought everything home and made it relatable and understandable.
Well, thank you for saying. I think that I think they had to be realistic. If I was going to set, I didn't make up my world. I set it in the real world. I think we're getting a little ahead of the audience here. Just so everyone's clear, this is a novel that is based in our world. It's based specifically in 2009 and 2010. Kind of, at the end of the recession, but before the advent of social media. It's set in a particular place and time. And in order for that to be realistic, I felt that the people had to be flawed and realistic too. So there was a real grounding that I wanted to do in order to make that struggle. It's something that I think you have been dealing with a lot in your stories. As fantastic as they are, I mean, you have people who are coming in with a lot of life experience. I mean, Keen seems to have been in a very abusive background. Sarah is sort of his rock, and you remove him from her. So I think that you've been working on a lot of these, same ideas too, trying to keep the characters real, trying to give them tensions that people can relate to, because I think that's important also, is for the audience. It's very hard to relate to people who are too perfect.
Yeah, that's great insight too, Anthony. Good job. And while we're talking about it and said how awesome your book is, I think we should do the first giveaway.
Wonderful. Thank you. I would love to give away. Let me specify that I am going to be giving away the winner's choice of a paperback, an ebook, or a free audiobook. The audiobook is just being released. It's a terrific job by a fantastic narrator named Laura Peterson. So the winner gets their choice of those three, sent to them however they want. So I can't wait to share it with a winner.
Yes, that'll be fun. So if you got that, you get your choice. So you can have one of the three. So as soon as we get the raffle up, you're going to hit !raffle. And again, if you can't do that now, that's because you're not logged in. So make sure to log in so you can chat. And it is now up. Yay! So at !raffle. And then I will let you know who won. Yeah, bang raffle.
Okay.
It's all y'all. Y'all can keep talking now, and I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah. Kevin, so we were talking about characters. We were talking about bringing in the realism. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? How you were working that with, I mean, you're working across the larger canvas, because you have multiple books. But, specifically in Blow the Candle Out When You Leave, I mean, there's a lot of tensions, a lot of contradictory elements pulling both at Keen and at Sarah. Keen seemed to be his own inner demons, whereas Sarah seemed to be the demands that a lot of people are pressing on her sorcerer, her potential, girlhood crush. So how did you work on that?
I had very specific arcs that I wanted to take these people through from the very beginning. And of course, a lot of it is going to be them repeating mistakes in more and more grand fashion. Until they finally, screw it up badly enough to learn the lesson.
Yeah. I resemble that remark in my characters. I know where you're coming from. It's important to keep them failing.
Yeah, I think for me, every character comes alive through their relationships, and certain when if alone in a room, you're just a bump on a stool. But as soon as there's two people there, then there's conversation and feelings and those contradictory thoughts. And that's where the interest is. That's the most fun part for me. And so that's kind of where I tend to lavish my attention. And
sure.
It
works really well.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's something that I try to look at, and I think for the same reasons, because there's a lot of the fantastic in the window dressing. It's more important to make those characters really live and breathe in a relatable way, so that people can experience your world through those characters' eyes. But
you were talking. Oh, sorry, I didn't interrupt.
No, I was just going to say, I think the other part of it is that I kind of really love the characters, and so
that helps.
Yeah, I want to think the way they think. I want to be in their heads and look through their eyes, and that's really it. So please continue.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared now because there's a certain king of a certain very bad kingdom, Tyrain, who I'm hoping that's not exactly the one you want to think like, because he's kind of not so nice.
Remember when I was talking about staining your brain?
That's one of them, huh?
That's one of them, and it's for that reason. It's because I do get really close to my characters, and if they're not nice characters, then I kind of have to wash them out when I'm done.
So we should be glad that you're not an actor and you're never going to play the Joker, because I need you healthy.
Yeah, we'll say that.
So real quick, I want to say the raffle is over. So let's see who won.
Who won?
Drum roll. I thought he had one last time. I guess he didn't have one set up, Mr. Tech Guy. Birdie won! Yay, Birdie!
Awesome,
so Birdie, that
yay.
same email. Yay, congratulations. So if you will send it to that same email, again, it's in the Streamlabs, and just let me know which one you want. So if you want the audiobook or the ebook or the paperback, and I will send your info on to Anthony so he can make sure you get it.
I will send you just so much awesomeness, and thank you, Birdie, along with the actual copy you get.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So send it to me and we'll make sure you get it. And anyone else who wants the copy, the link will be in there. If you want to get a copy now, you can get it. It's for sale. That's so cool. Yeah, we're making audiobooks too. What was that process like for you, Anthony?
Oh, wow. The audiobook was, first of all, it was marvelous, but there was a lot to it. The audiobook took a long time because sadly my narrator's mom developed quick cancer and died during the middle of the recording. So there was this long hiatus. But in the middle of it, we would connect and we would talk. And it was around the time that I was working on Business Class Tarot, which is a modern day tarot deck it's related to the Demon in Business Class, but people would ask about it. And so I kickstarted it. Here is a copy of that. You can find it online, businessclasstarot.com. So I sent her a copy just as a little, hey, I'm still here, just getting through your stuff. And I think that it kind of was interesting to see her process it as an actor, because my main character, Zarabeth, has her own very fraught relationship with her mom, which you encounter in the middle of the book. You understand what the background is, and it's pretty abusive from the mom's relationship with Zarabeth's now dead father. And so I won't give any more away, but just to the mom and daughter thing, for her to be coming back and reading it made me cry to hear her, because I could see that she was kind of processing her own missing of her mom in the middle of reading my stuff. It was very strange. I worked as a grunt on it. I was the kind of the copy listen or the proof listener when I didn't advise her on line readings or anything, but I would just like, you missed this, you didn't pronounce that Cantonese name right, stuff like that. So I was intimately, I got the first drafts of it, the first cut, and so it was just so wonderful to be part of it. So Kevin, when your audiobook is going, I hope you are as intimately involved as I was with mine, because it's a hell of an experience, and it's been wonderful for me.
We did a good running away already, and yeah, it was a really amazing experience to basically listen to your words being acted.
It is. It's so awesome. You have no idea until it happens to you. It's like, oh my God, someone's talking my stuff.
And reinterpreting it, and it comes back a little different. And and I love that. I absolutely loved that. That was amazing.
It's a wonderful experience. In a way, it's almost it's something that writers don't get a lot of. I mean, we have editors, we have people we work with, but it's not a dramatic form. You don't write something that's meant to be incomplete the way a playwright or a screenwriter does. You're writing something that you're trying to finish as much as finished. It's like you're building the house. Maybe somebody else is going to come along and furnish it later, but you're building the house. You're putting in the walls. You're doing everything possible. So it's a very strange thing. And then finally you let somebody else in and they come up with their own ideas, first with your editor, obviously. Hi, Kelly, you're an editor, you know about this. But then to have it be with somebody who's interpreting it and giving voice to the characters, it's just such an astonishing thing to go through. And as a writer, it's like, oh, other people. Which kind of segues to what we were talking about a little bit before the raffle, which was when we were talking about the dynamics of our characters. One thing that I found that you do, particularly in the Mercenary series, and one thing that I tried to do in Demon, is to give your characters real friendships and not just sidekicks.
Yeah.
And I think that is something like, we talk about romance as a driver of plot. We talk about, villain versus hero as a driver of plot. But I think that friendships and the way that characters work with friendships is given a very short shrift in how people develop their characters, particularly in novel-length works. I think a lot of people come in with short stories where it's very much like the narrator and their one fixed goal, right? I'm going to wall you up in the cask of Amontillado or whatever. That's what I'm doing, man. That's it. Story over. But with a novel-length work, you need to give people, ways to connect, ways to have, themselves checked, ways to say, oh yeah, man, you shouldn't be doing this. So, and what I thought was interesting in Blow the Candle Out for you in particular was that you have these tight friends, Keen and Sarah, and then you just split them. And they have to kind of reach out. Keen has his wife who, he's constantly wanting to run away from the situation. It's like, oh no, I have this wife now and she's got my kid. And then on the other hand, you got Sarah, and she not only has this crush, but she also has this, giant troll. I love Grohan, man. He was a maybe a sidekick or maybe a second character, but he reminded me a lot of Moonglum in the Elric series. He's definitely got his own personality, although he's a heck of a lot bigger than Moonglum. But I liked him a lot. And I think that that's something. So let's talk friendships in literature and fiction for a bit.
Yeah, and it's a subject that I personally find fascinating. I am one of those people that tends to. I don't have a lot of close friends, but the ones that I do, I hold on for dear life, and so I guess that was sort of an expression of my own values, and I think you see that with the witch, the Zarabeth's friend. Oh,
Missy, yeah.
Missy.
Missy.
I'm sorry, I was blanking. All I can remember was M.
Well,
but she seems to be that kind of, or at least to me, that was the way I read her. is somebody who, she's got her friends, and God help you if you cross them.
That's for sure. Yeah, Missy is very powerful. She's powerful enough that she should be like in charge of her own narrative, but she is in this book Zarabeth's friend, and Zarabeth, like, she'll pull Zarabeth back a little bit when she's about to go off cliffs and stuff. But beyond that, she's kind of there just to, like, check her a little bit, like, you sure you want to do that? Because I think that it was important for Zarabeth to have somebody like that, but not for that person's agenda to take over. That's, I think, a tricky thing in fiction, is to have friends who are powerful enough to rate the main characters, but at the same time not, like, kind of stomp all over them, or and let them, you need friends who will catch you when you fall, but you need friends who also let you fall a little bit, or even, like, enjoy the process and fall with you, and in life and also in fiction. So yeah, definitely for
I have to turn these notifications off, because every time I get one, my sound goes out. Okay, so I had a question that when you were saying that the story is 2009, 2010, and so urban fantasy, sort of a contemporary fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's almost like it was, but it isn't anymore, because the contemporary world has completely changed. Over the last 4 or 5 months, it's different, and it almost turns your story into a period piece.
It does. You're right. It's something to think about, for sure. It really does. Yeah, I see that. In fact, even just like in small details, there's a nightclub in the middle of the book that they go to the night before July 4th, and that nightclub was like a storied place. And I don't name it, but if you are from DC, it was the 18th Street Lounge, and it just closed after 25 years of being open.
Yeah,
it was owned by the guys behind Thievery Corporation, and it was like our first real cosmopolitan New York style nightclub. They would, like, check you at the door. They wouldn't let you in if you didn't look cool enough, back in the day. And we were all like, oh my God, we've got a place like that in Washington, DC. It's so odd, because it's a sleepy little southern town full of people in Navy suits. So, to have that was just so wonderful. And it closed. And we're just like, in my book, I'm like, oh my God, it's a historical fantasy now. Damn. And in larger scale, yeah, it's a very global planes from places. I mean, look at my cover. I mean, it's an airplane right there. You can't take those right now. It's going to be a very long time. And who knows, even after that, global warming, assuming we get through this virus, people are going to say, well, all that airplane fuel, it's probably not going to be burning it. The global jet age world, Demon kind of marks its last hurrah between global warming and the changes now that we're going through with coronavirus. It definitely is that way. At the same time, it was very much the last gasp of globalization. People have turned on that. First, it was going to be the idea is like, we will connect all the world. It would be like the Federation, but here on Earth. And now nationalism is hugely resurgent. It's a very strange thing. I'm glad that I have documented the way that it was until very recently, and it's something that you can look at and compare. I don't know that I was necessarily an advocate for it. This is something that we find in yours too, even though it's a medievalist fantasy setting. You've got this tension with all your different kingdoms, and they're all trying to connect. But at the same time, they don't really want to connect. And one of them wants to dominate all the rest. And then the others are like, maybe I'll go along with it. Oh, no, maybe I'll fight a war over here. So there's this kind of thing between getting together and breaking apart that you brought in. Was that something that you were thinking of? I mean, is that your transmuting of the real world that we're living in that you brought into your worldview?
Yeah. It's easy to look at certain places in the world, like like India and Pakistan. You can kind of see some of that conflict mirrored in between Tyrane and Coldspine over the Paris Plains, and there are a couple of sort of imperialistic heavy hitters there. There's constant tension, but of course
also the class struggles in your not to interrupt connections, but also the class struggles that are forcing King Keen out of his throne. You know, it reminds me a lot. I've actually been reading or listening to on audiobook the Hilary Mantel, Thomas Cromwell, Henry VIII books, the Wolf Hall trilogy, and that's this constant tension because Cromwell was a commoner. And he wound up being, you know, King Henry VIII, right-hand person for a long time. And a lot of the nobility were hugely angry about this. And so I opened up your lighthearted fantasy. I'm like, oh, dang, the nobility are angry at the commoners again too. It's, you know.
So a lot of those elements I did take from. You know, I spent a long time and continue to go through actual history. You know, because there are so many things that you would never have thought about, just amazingly fascinating things that actually happened. And there, you know, and a lot of them are not, you know, super well known. So there's a lot of rich soil there to hoe. But
Man, y'all are doing awesome. I'm going to interrupt real quick because we should do our second giveaway because we only have a few more minutes left with Anthony, unfortunately.
Awesome.
I know. You look at the timeline and you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. And then you start talking. You're like, wait, it's been how long? But we just started, which is good. So y'all are doing great. So we're going to do a second raffle.
You get a couple writers talking about their own books, and it's not going to be a short conversation.
Not at all. And we're stuck in our desks all day long. Just, oh, yay. People want to hear about me and not a cat. It's great.
Well, a cat also, but you know, it's all good. So we're going to give away, just like before, hit ! Raffle. And Anthony is generous enough that he is offering either an ebook, a paperback, or an audio, one of your choice. So this is a fun one. So everyone please enter just ! Raffle, and then we'll let you know when it is done. You look at that. It's a gorgeous cover. Lena said also, by the way, it's a gorgeous cover. So
it is. I really like it.
Yeah. And Zapho asked us his thing scrolled, but he wanted to know how many hours you had butt in seat and how many books did you get read while you were traveling.
Oh, you mean
in seat miles, top butt in seat miles?
Oh, top butt in seat miles. And
you mean back in the days when I was working for AOL? Oh, I was well over the 100,000 mark. But it's weird. Sometimes AOL would fly me, you know, because you get packages and stuff. So sometimes they would fly me business class. And so then your miles kind of get accumulated. But I think when I left, I was in the 230s, 240s. And a lot of that was actual miles covered. But I didn't fly. I wasn't like one of those who went for a weekend and went. I would go for like 6 months. I worked Hamburg, Paris, London, Tokyo, Sydney, and Hong Kong. But I would spend increasing amounts of time in each one because it was a heck of a lot cheaper to send me to Tokyo or Sydney or Hong Kong for 6 months rather than fly a whole bunch of people back and forth. So I was kind of the, you know, part of a small advance team. So I wasn't as much of a road warrior. It was more like, I felt a bit more like a diplomat, you know, thrown in and had to kind of go native and figure out the local. Yeah.
Obviously, because you said Hamburg, you said it right. So obviously you spent some time there to properly pronounce it. So good job.
I love Hamburg. Hamburg was a wonderful time. It was Hamburg was the first of my overseas gigs, and I had never been to Germany before. And so Hamburg was a fantastic way to start. And there's even a Hamburg chapter in Demon because I wanted to acknowledge the vibe that I had there. Although it's hard to capture, you know, any city as magnificent as that in just a few pages, but I did my best. But Hamburg was wonderful. I loved it so much.
That's awesome. And Spike has a question for you. She wants to know that you talked about tarot cards. She wants to know more about the tarot cards you developed.
Okay. In the Demon in Business class, Zara Beth has a tarot card deck, and early on, I thought it would be a good like kind of foreshadowing device. But I quickly found that my modern day woman from marketing was having a real hard time with this phallocentric, all white, very traditional deck. And so without really putting too much of a thought in it, I updated it to corporate terms. So instead of the fool, it was the intern. Instead of the Hierophant, it was the board of directors. And people really got into it. My here, I'll hold it up a little bit. Here's the deck, the Business Class Tarot. You can go to businessclasstarot.com.
Can you show us one? Is that open?
Yeah, it's open.
They're on the website too. If you go to his website.
Yeah, they're on the website, and there's also in the Demon in Business Class 9 of the images. This is the newer edition of the book with 9 of the images from the deck in black and white are the different parts. There's 9 parts divided by months. So let's see. This is the market. Let me see, which is the traditional world card in the traditional deck. This is the market. Let me find cool. This is the traditional devil, which is here investors.
Investors are the devil. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that one.
This is, she's doing her presentation in front of the Hammerhead Sharks, so she's getting some energy, but the people are cross purposes. Let's see. This is my death, reorganization, your new robot body, what can go wrong?
Those are very clever. How fun.
Thank you. This is bankruptcy, the traditional hanged man, the point at which you need help. I even got the crossed limbs there. My artist, Jamin Hoyle, was a terrific guy. I found him because what happened was people kept asking, where do I get that deck? Uh-huh. I'm like, I seem to have hit on a thing. And so my editor, Vivian Kaith, a wonderful editor, she was a big tarot person and she encouraged me to follow through. And I was getting stuck on my second novel. And so I started asking around, and through connections through artists, I found this guy, Jamin Hoyle. He mainly does advertising, but he was looking for occasional fine art projects. He also teaches commercial art at Richmond's Virginia Commonwealth University. And I did a Kickstarter and we got it funded. And so we created the deck. And so, businessclasstarot.com. It's also for sale on Etsy and you can find it. Let me see if I can find one more. Oh, here is my favorite, the traditional strength. This is crisis management. So.
That's awesome. Thanks. See, Haley would appreciate all the ocean stuff.
Oh, there's a lot. And there's my CEO, the traditional emperor.
That's how they all see themselves. At this point, you should have made him naked, emperor with no clothes. And I think we have a winner. We have a winner with our raffle. So let's see. Yeah, see, Haley's excited. Oh, there's the drums. There they are. And the winner is Haley, and Haley wins. Yay, Haley!
Very cool.
So Haley, if you want to go ahead, to email. You've won before, so email me and let me know whether you want the audiobook, the ebook, or the paperback, please, and then I'll send it on to Anthony so he'll get the info. So
Haley, how awesome! Yay!
Yay! Congratulations! Well, I think it's about time. Unfortunately, sadly, we have to say goodbye to Anthony. You've been amazing. Do y'all have any last words?
I just wanted to say thanks again. I'm loving your book. Can't wait to jump back into it, and just really pleased as punch that you were happy to come aboard and help us out.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much. It was great to talk with you. I actually the Blood Candle is the first one I finished. I started the other one, but then when I got a copy of Blood Candle, so now I want to go back and read the first one. I cannot wait to see where this series goes, particularly with the ending that I'm not going to give away, obviously, for Blood Candle, where we are. But you left us at a fantastic point, and so I'm so looking forward to seeing more. Thank you for having me on here. It's been great to connect this way, and I'm so happy to meet your readers and viewers. Chris Dragonship is an awesome place, and I'm so happy to meet this. Thank you so much for having me.
And wait, Anthony, before we let you go, I do want you to please share with the audio listeners where they can find you.
They can find me at my website, anthonydobransky.com. And also on Facebook, Dobransky Author is where my authors page is. Those would be the best places. I have an Instagram and a Twitter, but they're not too active at the moment. I need to get them back to life. But Dobransky Author is pretty much who I am everywhere on the socials. And AnthonyDobransky.com. And my book is wide. You can find it at any store in print or ebook. So if you can get Dobransky right, you're pretty much most of the way there.
Excellent. Dobransky ends with an I, so everything else is pretty self-explanatory. So excellent. Well, thank you very much, Anthony. We shall see you soon.
Thank you again.
Well, have a great launch, Kevin. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kevin. So are you having fun tonight?
I am. Yeah. You know, Anthony was showing off his cards, and while this isn't, this isn't like widely available, I wanted to show you something that Lena made. So let's see if I can get that up there. This is Jenny the pig.
She's so cute.
A recurring character throughout the books.
I didn't see her in. Now I being the lucky editor, I got the first look at book 3, and I didn't see her in book 3. You might have to bring her in.
You just hadn't got there yet.
Oh, okay, all right. You got to bring her in, man. We need to see her. So she's not in book 3. Nope. Not the version I read, anyways.
All right, maybe she's not. Maybe she's not in 3, but she's definitely in 4.
Well, we can bring her in 3. I mean, come on, she's a pig. We can make it happen. Magic. But awesome. That's very cute. Lena is very talented. You have a very talented creative household, I have to say, because you do comics too, and don't you play like D&D and stuff too? Do you not?
I do.
That's awesome. How much does that inform what you're writing?
Well, I guess it D&D may it got me used to telling stories.
That's helpful.
And I think actually when I started writing books, well, actually I did a webcomic first, which was terrible and nobody should look it up. But I think that part of the idea behind me doing the webcomic and then writing books was to create a narrative where I actually controlled all the characters. Because, with a D&D game, it's everything, no plan survives contact with the players. So
you're saying playing RPGs would be way more fun if there were no players. Is that what you're saying? That's what I heard.
No,
my limited DM experience, I might agree with you.
Experiences. It is 2 different experiences. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to tell stories and I wanted them to go the way that I wanted them to go. I don't mind doing it the other way with my friends, because then the draw is having my friends there. It's not really the game.
Haley said, so people suck. No, Haley, they don't suck. They just ruin your plans. Remember, we talked about outlines and characters not doing what you want. Yeah, those characters really don't do what you expected them to.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And Anthony says, what's the URL that he's not supposed to look at? I mean, he's asking for a friend. He doesn't want to, your webcomics you want to keep secret.
I don't know.
We'll message you, Anthony. We'll message you later. It's top secret. We'll send you an email. So.
No, I was in a completely different headspace then. They're very juvenile and they're.
Wait. Are you trying to say Misplaced Mercenaries is mature?
Comparatively.
That's my favorite. The humor in these books are wonderful, and considering some pretty horrendous things happen, it's nice that you have that humor, because quite frankly it would be too dark for me otherwise. So when you said earlier how you like to have that lighter element, you balance it very nicely. So it's not all dark and oh my gosh we're all going to die, but it's not all just jokey and nothing is taken seriously. It's this nice balance that you've managed to maintain through this series.
So humor is actually kind of sneaky. It's sort of a backdoor into somebody's brain. If you want somebody to emotionally engage with what you're doing, humor is the fastest way to do that, because people just, people want to laugh. Everybody wants to laugh. I want to laugh. Mm-hmm. And then once they've laughed with you, it's a lot easier to get them to cry with you. or be afraid with you, or whatever trip it is you want to go on. And you have to have that in order to make the funny parts funny. You know, it's like nobody appreciates a sunny day if there's never a cloudy day.
It's true.
And also having that little pop of humor at the end of something that's otherwise kind of grim, it makes it funnier. And it lifts you up more.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've been stepping on your neck for the that's
it's a little sore. It's a little sore.
Yeah, probably not good imagery there. But,
good point. Bad image.
Yeah.
But it happens, man.
Anyway, yeah, so funny. The funny murder.
Hey, you've got a couple funny murders in this one. But it depends on your definition of murder.
Yeah, well, and you were talking about the fact that that it's a little, you know, everybody's kind of gray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the good guys are better than the bad guys, but it's definitely a sliding scale.
I mean, you know who to root for. It's not like you don't know who to root for, right? You've read books like that where they're so gray, you're like, I don't know, they all suck. It's not like that at all. What it really is like you said, it's just gray. There's not, you know, this saintly character that you must put on a pedestal and no one can touch them, and then this really evil person that just wants to destroy the world, right? They're all have these. I mean, you have a ex-mercenary who's now king of this kingdom, you know? So it's just, you have all of these things going on. It's just, it's really well done. But wait, before we go on, I do want to make sure, because we're almost done, to give away your last paperback.
Okay.
So we have one more signed paperback from Kevin Petway on his book launch book birthday today. So we want to definitely make sure to give that away. So once the raffle goes up, there it is. All right. So if you'll please put / raffle in there so that you can be entered to win it. Haley says she wants it. She's pretty lucky. She won both of mine, so she did good. So we'll see. We shall see. Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say on that same thing. One of the things that really interested me about the bad guy in the first book was that he's a bad person and he does bad things, but he does them for a good reason in his head anyway. He does it really for the best of reasons, and I found that fascinating. I like, you know, I've always felt like even the worst human beings who go out and do horrible things, they can come home and love their family. You know, they can, you know, somebody who can go out and commit murders, faithful to his wife, or, you know, be a good father or whatever. You know, not saying that they are, maybe they're just horrible people. But I like that dichotomy. I like, I like what it set up in the books. Because it really created a big flaw in Sarah that continues throughout all the books, and that's where it starts. Well,
if anyone's too perfect, it's Sarah. So she needed the flaw. So it actually works really nicely.
Sarah just looks perfect. She looks perfect on the outside, but she's really not.
Yeah, but I'm with Lena. She always says she wants to be Sarah when she grows up. Yeah, I'm with her. Sarah's awesome. So I wish I could think as quickly as Keen did. That would be very convenient.
Yeah, I wish I could too.
Yeah, he's very quick. You're like, yes, he's very quick. After very many hours of carefully writing his dialogue, he's quick. Awesome. Yeah. Do we have a winner, Kevin? Nope. We have a little bit of time left.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Yay. So that's awesome. So Kevin, we have a few more minutes. What I would like you to do is the same thing as everyone else for the audio listeners. If you can please tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay. So my website is kevinpetway.com. I've got blogs that show up there that are very rarely about anything book related, but it's they entertain me. And then I'm also on Facebook at Kevin Petway. I try to get on there once a day. I actually try to get on there no more than once a day because, Facebook will drag you down.
It does, man. It sucks you in, right?
Yeah,
Man,
well, I mean, it drags you down psychologically. It just makes you
that too.
if you spend too much time there. Yeah, those are pretty much where you can get in touch with me. And
excellent.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, like, I got his newsletter this morning and it's hilarious. So sign up for that newsletter. For the entertainment alone, it is worth it.
Yeah, you can sign up for the newsletter on the website too.
Yes, so we put that in the chat. So that is in the chat. And then when we put this on YouTube, because that's where it's going next, it'll be underneath. So underneath us, y'all can see the connections to everything that you need to, any of the wonderful authors we featured tonight, if you want to learn more about them, all of that stuff will be underneath. So,
Sweet.
And
I do want to recommend both Haley and Anthony's books. I've been having a lot of fun reading them.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. So I started Haley's last month. So it's a big one. So I'm not quite done with it yet, since I have other people's books I have to read for a living. But so I'm getting through that one. But so it's a lot of fun. But if you like fantasy, I mean, these are the authors you want to read. So good choice. So who's the winner?
Yeah, started Anthony's.
No, and I can't wait. What do we have? Who do we have? Vicky! Vicky won the signed book.
Very cool.
Yay! Good job! Congratulations! Yay! So we'll send you their information so you know where to give it to and you know who to sign the book to. So that will be coming from Kevin, and congratulations, everyone. Sorry, Haley. But if you do want to purchase this book, it's right on there, which of course you do because it's amazing. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, the ebook is available on Kindle Unlimited for free. So you can get right on there and get that baby read. And the first one and the second one are on there. And again, the QR code is right there. You can do that, or in the chat, you've got the info. So Kevin, you were amazing. I hope you had fun tonight. We certainly had fun.
This has been a blast. This has been
good.
wonderful. I'm really, really excited about any opportunity to interact with other human beings.
That's right. It feels good, right? It's like, this is the closest you can get. Virtual hug. It's like now, even when you see that. He's been dying to use his sounds. Yeah, we should give a big hand clap for our tech guy, Zafo, who kept the windows under control. Every time there was a blip, he's like, straighten everything out. So good job. So are there if there's not any last questions, let's see. Anthony's on there. Let's see. Haley says she's definitely get it. She's very excited. She's got 6 books in her only 6 books. Haley, you only have 6 books in your to be read pile. Oh, amateur. She'll get there.
Sarah and Jasmine in a standalone.
That's the question, by the way, from Anthony.
Yeah. So I can't answer that question without spoilers.
I'm going to say we better as your editor because I want to see that. I didn't even think of that, but of course we have to see that. Good job, Anthony. That would be so much fun. See, he loves Jasmine too. See?
Jasmine was, I really, really liked her. She, when I was designing the family and, figuring out, okay, there's going to be this many brothers and, and then there's got to be a sister and, and how is this, and immediately it popped into my head. Well, obviously she's smarter than all of them. Because that's the only way that she could survive being in that family. Because they're all misogynistic assholes. Mm-hmm. I love Jasmine, and she gets, in my opinion, she just gets better and better and better as it goes.
So excited. See, this is the editor that's also a fan, so it's really fun. I can't wait. So,
well, I'm writing book 4 right now, which but they don't. And she's just taken off
Yay.
which I love.
So excited. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Please email if you want anything, which I think we had a lot of people that did. So good job, everyone. Congratulations. And then email the email that was on the thing. And if you have any other questions, you know where to get a hold of us. And we do writing sprints. So if you have any writers on here who want to join us, our schedule is listed underneath in Twitch right there. You can come on and join us, and we will peer pressure these books done. We'll peer pressure that done. So awesome. Thank you very much, Kevin. Congratulations. Well deserved. I can't wait till all these people see your book. And leave reviews. Please make sure to leave reviews too.
Yeah, that's super helpful.
Yes, it is.
Well, I had a wonderful time. I'm really glad that we did this.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys. Cursed Dragon Ship signing out.